Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Your host, V&M General Manager Kevin Jean and Iowa Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff will keep you up to date on what's happening on the best lakes in the Arklatex region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, two guys who have fished at a high level with Pro-Am experience with ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers with a wealth of knowledge and willing to share. So pull up a chair, kick back, and see why so many anglers watch Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ranger Iowa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M President, General Manager Kevin Jean, and we're back. That's right. We are back. Tackle Talk Live is back on the air and looking forward to a great fall season. We got a lot of stuff we've been working on for the last month of August, and we've got James. Kevin, we've got to give credit to James Stanfield. He's done a great job. Great intro. If you hadn't seen it or heard it, you just got the first glimpse of it. And thank you for your hard work, James. Everything sounds great. We got some commercials. We got Brandon Michaels running our commercials for us and did a great job of recording those. Thank you, Brandon, as well. And hey, we're semi-professional now.
I don't know if we would go that far, Steve, but we do have a lot of upgrades. And again, shout out thanks to James for everything he's done there. Steve, we've been off a month, and it feels like it's been a lot longer than that, but there is a big month of September and even going into October of local tournaments, local championships, a lot of stuff going on for the next 2 months. So it will be a busy next couple months for Tackle Talk Live. Yeah,
we're going to have some good stories and some good reports from these lakes like Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn. There's just a lot going on, as Kevin has alluded to, between Bob Seeley, Bass Champs, championships. It's that
V&M tournament.
V&M tournament. It's that time of year. It's championship time of the year from September, October, even into November. We're covering one all the way into November, the TTO tour. But hey, if you're a bass fisherman and you don't hunt very much, there's plenty to fish. So if you want to continue to fish, don't put the boat up yet. Don't winterize it, which down here we really don't do much winterizing. But keep the boat out. A lot of guys, I'm telling you, it's just a great time. To me, it's my favorite time. A lot of people this spring. I love fall fishing, Kev.
No, I really do. You know, and the fishing's picked up, especially on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. I know the bite might be getting a little bit tougher on Sam Rayburn.
Yeah.
But you know, as the fall goes on, these temperatures, like this morning, starting to cool down. We're going
good.
Some changes in the bite will start to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good fall. I think a really good fall here locally. I think there'll be some big bags caught again.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to see what some of these larger tournaments kicks out. Starting with this weekend, the Texas, the Bass Champs presents the Texas Shootout right here on Sam Rayburn. I think it will really be a good bag that wins this tournament. Now, there was 2 tournaments on Sam Rayburn this past weekend. The Lonnie Stanley Memorial Tournament, which Mr. Lonnie Stanley passed away.
Yeah, sad news.
I mean, just the first ever jig spinnerbait manufacturer here in this region.
First jig spinnerbait I ever threw was a Lonnie Stanley. They're just a staple in the industry, and nobody was as innovative. Lonnie Stanley and Stanley jigs and spinnerbaits were as good a product as you could ask for.
And so they had that Memorial Tournament this past weekend, and we're going to jump into that a little bit more with Albert Collins. I know Albert had a lot to do with that. Albert's going to be our guest today. He had a lot to do with that tournament and getting Outlaw Outdoors to put that on. 3 fish, I believe 16. I got the results right here. I believe 16 pounds. Let me make sure before I tell you I wrong. Yeah, 1663 won that. They had another little tournament on Saturday. Took a little over 21 pounds to win that.
Yeah.
With these cool temperatures, though, and everything, Steve, I'm going to be interested to hear Albert's take on what he thinks it will take to win the shootout this weekend.
Right. And Albert Collins, no stranger to winning ways, as we all know Albert. I've got a chance to know Albert over the last 2 years, and actually stayed together last week at Lake Texoma. Him and Clayton Bullware, we all stayed together. It's just neat. He's a great guy to sit down and talk with, Kevin. You get a lot of not just understanding of how he thinks, but the mindset of a great angler and how he approaches bass fishing. I mean, I've learned a lot from Albert in a very short time period, and looking forward to having him on the show today. But real quick, we've got some sponsors, and we've looking forward to continuing to improve on our sponsor list. But right now, we got 3 sponsors we want to give recognition to at this time.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your healthcare needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry 2 of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins, as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garment and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's Four-Way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49, or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
And welcome back to Tackle Talk Live. Again, I'm Ranger Dyer Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M President Kevin Jean, and we are here. And on the phone, we have the one and only, the legendary Albert Collins from over there around Nacogdoches, Texas. That is where you live, Albert, isn't it, Nacogdoches?
Yeah, I live in Nacogdoches. I grew up in Broadus, but I live here in Nacogdoches now.
Okay, there you go.
Albert, we want to kind of jump into Sam Rayburn, of course, and talk a little bit about the tournament's coming up. Such a busy September and October on Sam Rayburn. We know there was and we're going to jump into and talking about the Memorial Lonnie Stanley Memorial Tournament this past weekend as well. But let's jump into Sam Rayburn, just how it's fishing and kind of how you see the end, going into September with all these big tournaments. How's the fishing and how's the fishing going to be?
For me, the fishing's been off. It's tough. You can catch numbers, but catching that size has really been hard. Don't know what to contribute that to for sure. Probably a combination of several different things, but I don't know. I think there's gonna be a lot of fish caught this fall. I'm just concerned about the big fish.
Yeah.
They're not showing up like they should be.
Concerned now, Albert. Concerned, and are you afraid they're not there?
I'm thinking a lot of them aren't here anymore.
Really?
The lake's been pressured so hard for the last several years. They're either not here or they have got caught enough times they've taken just to open water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like them Toledo Bend fish. They just get out there and roam in that open water
and suspend.
I really think that's what a lot of these fish are starting to do now. But I don't know.
So the brush top
got me worried about where we're at with the lake right now.
So the brush top pattern, Albert, is it just still not there? You probably get bit in them, but you're not catching the right ones, are you?
No. And, this past weekend, there was some guys fishing that been catching them in the past few years on brush piles and really doing good. But I talked to one of them a little bit down there Sunday evening, and he's like, man, He said, I don't know. He said, I can't catch them out there. They're just not there.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and that being said, of course, I was over there about 3 or 4 weeks ago and ended up having to go shallow. I caught 2 good fish out deep, but most of my fish that I weighed in that day all came from 3 foot of water or less. And and every once in a while you catch a 2 3/4, almost 3 pounder, and you know, and then when I came in with a little over, just under 17 pounds, I never dreamt that I would be where I was in the standings, but it just goes to show, and the deep bite was not on there at all. And guys that went shallow were the ones that seemed to do better than the rest of them.
Right. Still seems to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I stayed deep. I stayed deep. I stayed on the average 12 to 20 foot Sunday, and man, just didn't do worth a flip.
Yeah. Albert, let's kind of talk a little bit about the Lonnie Stanley Memorial Tournament. I know you had a great deal talking to Clint Wade. I know you had a great deal of stuff to do with that tournament and getting it put on and wanting to do it for Mr. Lonnie. And we kind of talked a little bit about it before we came on the show. But, you know, what he meant to you and what he did for you and just everybody locally around Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, you know, Kevin, and actually, they didn't do that as a memorial tournament. I mean, it's just we did that. We put that
honor
together.
Lonnie tournament.
To honor Lonnie, and you know, just show appreciation for what Lonnie has done for so many people. He's been there for me since I was a kid. You know, if I needed something, I could call Lonnie, and man, I don't care where I was at in the world, he'd send it to me and wouldn't ever let me pay for it.
Right.
But he's done that with a lot of kids. There's very few fishermen, especially in this part of the country, that hasn't had some kind of dealings with Lonnie.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, just a really good guy, and I wanted to show his family our appreciation, you know, for Lonnie.
Well, and again, he's one of those, it's one of those legendary names, Albert, that, you know, I know from my point as a kid growing up in East Texas from probably 72 on up. And I mean, Stanley jigs was the first jig I ever saw or even picked up and tied on. Their spinnerbait, the wedge, I love their spinnerbait line. That they just made a quality product, and their jigs, they caught fish. I mean, there's a lot of baits and a lot of people make baits, but their baits seem to really catch fish.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it's like you say, Stanley jigs probably the only jig I threw for, heck, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. I didn't even know anybody else made a jig.
When did he come out with the jig, Albert? Do you remember?
No, not for sure.
I can look it up, of course, but yeah.
I mean, I graduated in '83, and he was making jigs before that.
Yeah, I was thinking late 70s in my head, but it's something I'll have to look up when he came out with the Stanley jig. That was when the big, I forget what nickname the fish on Lake Fort that was caught, and that's when it blew up, the jig.
I think it was Ethel.
Ethel, yes.
Ethel.
I think it was.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I think it was Ethel.
But anyway, well, and again, great job with that, Albert. I know y'all had 93 teams, and Clint said it was just everything went really, really well, and you know, we're glad to hear, you know, it did, and y'all were able to honor Mr. Lonnie like y'all were. So we appreciate all you done there in helping with that.
Sure. That was, you know,
well, Albert,
what we needed to do.
You in the month of September, I mean, what I know you and Clayton do a lot of stuff with team stuff going on, and how do you feel about the month of September overall going into October? Are we going to have an early fall? Is there going to be an early feeding frenzy going on, or is the water temperature still going to remain hot?
You know, flip a coin up and guess heads or tails. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to see it cool down a little bit and things get a little more active and some size start showing up. But as far as where typically I'm catching fish this time of the year going into the fall, and it's not looking good for me.
Yeah. And
they're just not showing up, and the ones that are showing up are just getting beat up. You know, there's so many people on the water all the time anymore. Well, I just don't think they're getting a chance to settle down and rest and group up they're just keeping them pushed and scattered.
And at what point do you feel like, when's that transition period kind of take place on Rayburn normally, or even Toledo Bend for that fall transition where they migrate into the back of the creeks? Is that normally October, November for us down here? I think September's a little early.
It'll start. We need 2 really good cold fronts to get things started.
Yeah.
To just drop that water temperature 10 to 15 degrees. But for me, the ultimate time for me is when that water hits about 68 to 65 degrees, and then it gets good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically.
What does it take this weekend, Albert? 1-day tournament. Does it take 25? Would that fill with those anglers that will be fishing this tournament? We all know the amount of hammers that will be fishing this tournament. Will it take 25 this weekend?
Well, the thing is, this weekend's a 3-fish tournament.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. They did switch it to a 3-fish.
Oh, yeah,
sure did.
It won't take 25. Then.
Well, all right. Well,
pounds, I'll stay home.
Will it take 20 with 3?
It very well could.
Yeah.
We had a couple of 18-pound stringers weighed in Sunday, I think, 17 or 18-pound stringers.
16 won it. 16 won it.
16 won it? I was thinking there was 2 18s.
There was Billy Cloud won it by himself with 1663, and second place was 1566.
Maybe I'm thinking about Saturday. No, there was. I'm trying to think. Saturday, maybe.
There were 21-pound sacks Saturday. That was 5-fish though.
Right, that was 5-fish.
Right.
No, if somebody's gonna get lucky and catch a big one. Don't get me wrong. There's gonna be an 8 or 9 or 10-pounder caught. Probably an 8 or 9-pounder.
Yeah.
If somebody gets lucky and catches 2 of those, that's gonna be a serious game changer. But
that changes everything. The 3-fish thing changes everything.
No doubt. And Albert, in a 3-fish tournament, are you better off just committing? In a 5-fish tournament, I like to get my limit in the boat as quick as I can, especially early on a hot day. Get them in the boat. That way you got that pressure off of you. But in a 3-fish deal,
it's a whole different game.
It's a whole
plan.
different mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't have my mind in the right frame for that 3-fish stuff. But
yeah,
because I like to go out, I like to spend all day long fishing for 5 good quality bites.
Yeah.
If I get lucky and catch a really good fish, then that's just a kicker. That's a plus.
Yeah.
But a 3-fish tournament, we're up in the air. Do we go try to catch 3-4-pounders and then spend the rest of the day trying to catch a big fish, or we just go try to catch a big fish, and then if we do, we go spend the rest of the day trying to catch 2 more solid fish to go with it?
Yeah.
We don't do well with 3-fish tournaments. And we've tried it both ways, We say, okay, we're going to go fish for a big fish, and at 1 o'clock, if we don't have a big fish, then we'll just back up 10 yards and punt. But
yeah.
Well, is it also one of those things you try to catch as many fish as you can, and hopefully you upgrade as the day goes on till you get to that 15, 16, 17-pound bag?
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome.
That's what we've always done until we've tried to experiment here this last year with it. But we've always gone out and we fished everything we've got and try to catch everything we can catch, and hopefully just progressively upgrade and get lucky and get a good fish off of one of those spots.
Right.
It's still hard for me to get out of my mind that it's going to take 3 fish for 22, 23, 24 pounds to win like it was doing for a while. But it's not going to take that anymore, I don't think. I just don't see it.
Right. Also, too, one thing I want to ask you, Albert, because when we stayed together last week, me, you, and Clayton and Brett at Texoma, we talked about this, the Brandon Belt tournament that's coming up in 2022, and they're talking about, again, making that a series. This ain't going to be a one-time tournament. But let's say that and it does come to fruition and it becomes a tournament trail. Albert, can everybody survive? You got Triple T, you got the TTT trail, you got Bass Champs. Can everybody make it with this?
Well, you look at September and October alone. Every weekend in September, there's a big tournament on Sam Rayburn.
Oh, yeah.
And then in October, going into October, I mean, you got October alone. You got the Outlaw Team Championship.
You got
Big Bass Splash.
Sealy.
This month you got the Texas. I mean
and Keith Combs usually does a tournament in October.
Tournament is in October.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's going to be a mess. I mean, there's so much going on, and you just can't do it all. You know, you got to pick and choose what you're going to do, but you hate to miss one.
Yeah. That's true. Especially when you're at a lake like Sam Rayburn, where it's just continuously every weekend. I mean, you could really just zero in if you could shotgun tournaments or pick a lake to shotgun. Rayburn would be it because
you don't have to leave.
No, it's every week. You can keep up with what they're doing and what's going on every day. And but I just wonder how everybody's going to survive, because I know this Brandon Belt deal is going to be a big deal. And again, at some point, guys are going to have to sit down and say, okay, there's only 4 weekends in a month, first of all. An occasional 5, where am I going to drop my money? Where am I going to sink my money in? And they can't fish everything, like you said. And so I don't know. It's going to be tough this next spring.
Well, I think for some of them to survive, they're going to have to go back to having November and December tournaments.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's enough out there, Albert.
Oh, we can't do that because deer season, Well, if you want to go deer hunting, go deer hunting. If you want to fish a tournament, let's go fishing.
Exactly.
And I've always told them in the past, we talked about it. I've talked about it with them several times. I said, you just got to miss opening weekend of deer season.
Yeah.
And after that, they've got 2 months to hunt.
Yep.
You know.
You're exactly right.
I'm like you. I don't see everybody making it, trying to step on everybody's toes. Somebody's going to have to make a change somewhere, whether it be a scheduling time of the year or what. But
yeah.
Now, somebody's going to fall off. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I just don't see it holding.
If everybody's wanting to come to Rayburn like they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you have to with them. You get better numbers on Rayburn than you do anywhere else in the state of Texas.
Yeah, if you're a tournament director, you got
to go to Rayburn.
Rayburn's got to be on your list.
You do.
I mean, it's a drawing card. Toledo Bend had a better year this year, Albert, than people predicted it would. A lot of bags a lot of winning weights came from up north. The lake kind of changed dynamically in terms of everybody going south. Well, now everybody's going north to win a tournament up there.
Right.
And
that's another thing about Rayburn. The dynamics of that lake is changing.
Yeah.
I think it's from 2 or 3 different things. There's we don't have near the grass we used to have.
Mm-hmm.
For one thing. 2, we had all this high water. Plus the fact that they're spraying all this poison on this Sylvania. We're losing a lot of our buckbrush. Our bushes, our willow trees. We don't hardly have any willow trees in the water anymore.
Right.
Very little buckbrush in most places. You got some cypress trees, and you got those sticky grabby trees. I don't even know what they're called. It's like an ironwood or an elm or something. But other than that, we don't have a whole lot of stuff in the water anymore.
Yeah.
And on top of that, 70% of a lot of tournaments are fishing north of 147 Bridge.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, it's getting crowded up there. And
it is.
So, and I'm sure, as we all know with you and some of the guys that have done really well, that's the end of the lake where in the earlier years, 5-6 years ago, that's where y'all were really doing well. Now everybody's up there. So it makes it hard. So again, it makes you wonder, does the south end of the lake now become a player again,
It's going to have to eventually, because the north end's getting beat up so bad, and the mid-lake and south is not getting near the pressure.
No.
If they could just get some hydrilla back in the water down there.
Yeah.
And there's some, there's more coontail than hydrilla, which I'm not a big fan of coontail at all, but if we could get some good hydrilla fields back down there, I think it would make a really big difference, and it helps the whole lake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it helps spread everybody out a little bit, too. I mean, you're right.
It does.
You're right. You're exactly right. So, well, it's going to be interesting fall. Looking forward to seeing how everything shakes out. And, Albert, thank you for your time, man. We appreciate you. And
good luck this coming weekend, Albert.
Yeah, y'all get them, man.
Boy, we don't need it, I promise you.
All right. You and Clayton have a good weekend, man.
All right, y'all too. Y'all take care.
All right. Albert Collins. We appreciate Albert coming on with us today and give us his thoughts as to exactly what he thinks is going on over there. And again, I had the chance to spend a lot of time with him last week, Kevin, and I'm telling you, some of the thoughts he shared today, he shared with me and Brett at that point, and him and Clayton both are just like, that north end of the lake is just getting smoked right now. And Chris Wayan has already announced with ABA, all ABA events will be going out of Castle Boykin for the duration. He's not looking to go south because of
and so many tournaments right now are trailering, and that's another big thing.
Yeah.
The trailering tournaments, they can go put in up there. They don't have to make that run.
Yeah. Your opinion on trailering? You like them trailering events? Or?
I don't have a problem with it. I don't. I don't
Especially
have a problem
with polygraph going on.
When you get over 100 boats, I would prefer a trailering.
Right.
That the morning of and having to do that takeoff, and then it's just a lot going on there. I really, really like the Brandon Belt fishing, their tournament they're putting on. What they're doing. There's 400 boats.
Right.
First day is trailering. Day 2, the top 20 who make it, hey, it's takeoff. I love that scenario out of it. But now I will say this, coming from somebody like the V&M tournament we're putting on at the end of the month, it's trailering. So much easier work to put a tournament on when it is trailing. And you don't have to have as many people.
Right.
So it's just a lot easier to do from putting a tournament on. Now, one thing, and I just completely forgot about, I'm not able to fish the Texas Shootout this year. First year I've missed it in a long time. I completely forgot it's going to a 3-fish.
Yeah.
Steve, that is a game changer.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And there are some people that love that, and some people absolutely hate it.
I hate it. I don't fish that way. I don't fish that way. I'm a lot like Albert. I'm just going to catch all I can catch and hope I can get that big bite.
I did pose that question to Chad Potts a couple of years ago. I said, Chad, because he took a lot of heat.
Yeah.
You remember one year they went to 3-fish limits.
He was the first one that went to it.
And he tried it, and he said, man, my phone, he said, you wouldn't believe the complaints. He said, but.
It's a big fish tournament. It's just like a Sealy big bass tournament.
He said, but when you looked at it, when the season was over, the same guys in those 3-fish deals were the same guys that were winning with 5-fish.
I would agree with that.
He said there was an exception every once in a while.
Yeah.
He said, but the main guys still did their their thing. So, and I guess if you're on a top pattern, and you're a deep guy,
well, it just opens up. It opens up for more luck to come.
Yeah.
In.
No, I
if
won't
somebody
disagree with
catches that 1 10-pounder, and you got 2 2-pounders to go with, you got 14 with 3 fish compared to 18 with 5, 17, 18 with 5. You're a whole lot bigger player.
Oh, yeah.
It opens up a little bit more luck. But that 3-fish, because I was thinking 5-fish, because it's harder to catch 5 right now, Rayburn. 5 I was thinking 5-fish. I was saying 14 pounds might get paid in that shootout. But 3-fish, I mean, you look at the Honor Lonnie tournament this past weekend, it took 10 pounds, Steve, with 93 teams.
Yeah.
It took 10 pounds to get paid.
All right.
So he's right. I mean,
only 10 pounds.
Rayburn Rayburn right now is struggling. And it was very interesting to hear him say he don't know if the big fish are still there.
Yeah. Now that was a great point I think Albert made, and
just don't know if they're there to be caught.
And again, I remember 5 or 6 years ago, I hardly ever went north of 147 Bridge. I know a lot of guys would, especially when we went out of Humphrey. We stayed on Mill Creek, Bear Creek. We went to St. Augustine. We went to,
the south end is so much deeper. The south end to me is so much like Toledo Bend. And what has happened on Toledo Bend in the past 3 years?
Right.
Them fish are out there in the 30 to 50 foot of water just chasing bait.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on them. They're not getting cast on every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Every point on Sam Rayburn, every 10 minutes, there's a bait getting cast on.
No, you're right.
Every single day. And the south end of the lake, them fish just said, well, forget this. I'm just going to go out here and roam around and chase the bait around and eat. And that's, in my opinion, that is what has happened on the south end of the lake. And that is exactly what has happened to Toledo Bend. The fish are still there on Toledo Bend, but they are roaming around and moving around so much they're hard to caught.
It's just like people. When too many people move in your neighborhood, you kind of want to get away from everybody. You tend to move out. So it ain't no different. But anyway, we also got some more sponsors we're fixing to give more recognition to. And we'll be right back with more Tackle Talk Live right after this.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live. And again, we want to thank all the sponsors that we've got. Can't do this show without you. We appreciate each and every one of you. And real quick, Kevin's got one more we're going to recognize.
Lone Star Bass Trail. And Steve, Mr. Jeff Bunch over there at Lone Star Bass Trail has kind of went outside Sam Rayburn a little bit. They just finished up a tournament on Lake Nacogdoches last weekend, or weekend before last, I'm sorry. And Steve, I mean, it was a success. I definitely call it a success when 5 fish for 32-17 wins the tournament.
Wow.
So, and it was a, weigh in the boat, release, kind of MLF style, but your best 5 fish tournament. Jack York and Miller won it with 32-17. Second place was 19-22. Third place was 17-34, but had a 5 fish stringer of 32-17
this time of year
on Nacogdoches.
That's crazy.
And knowing Jack York, like I know him, and he is a Lake Fork guy, it was all about that Gorman on the front deck. I promise you that with that young man right there. But guys, make sure to check out Lone Star Bass Trail. Again, you can go to their Facebook page, you can go to their website. He's starting to kind of go outside of Rayburn for you guys that don't want to just fish Rayburn all the time. I know he is currently working on a tournament series, a fall series on Toledo Bend, but he's still trying to kind of pull those pieces together. He told me today he had a couple of sponsors coming in to help him out. So stay up to date. Make sure you like the Lone Star Bass Trail Facebook page. And also I want to talk about the Ironman tournament, which it was the first weekend of August that we missed out on, but we talked about that tournament so much on here. I want to kind of go over the results for that. First place was Dillard and Cross, 6 fish for 23-13. Moorhead, second place, 6 fish for 21.90. And again, that Ironman tournament, they weighed in 3 fish from the morning session, 3 fish from the evening session. That way they didn't fish in the middle of the day. So hats off to Mr. Jeff Bunch for kind of going outside the box over there at Lone Star Bass Trail and coming up with this Ironman tournament, going to different lakes like Nacogdoches. Steve, with his way of weigh and release, it opens him up to be able, and he don't do all of his tournaments like that, but that opens him up to be able to go to different lakes. So I think he's got something going there.
And it's a different group of anglers that are probably jumping in those, and I've had, other anglers say that we've had these conversations before takeoff or on the lake or sitting around at a restaurant. Why don't they go to different lakes? Well, guys, there's not. When you're hosting 100 to 200 boat tournaments, there's not many places or boat ramps to me, the only lake that I can think of that may be getting left out a little bit is Lake of the Pines. But Nacogdoches can't handle a 200-boat tournament field. It's just not big enough. Even for a fork, it's as pressured as Fork is. Those kind of events on those smaller bodies of water are a challenge.
Oh, they are, absolutely.
And but this guy thinking outside the box, I do like what he's doing, and I think it's something different. And I look for some guys to go back to Toledo Bend a little bit this next year, more than we had this past year. I think this next spring, Kevin, Toledo Bend's going to be back.
And again, he's trying to do something this fall. So, again, go back, check out their Facebook page, Lone Star Bass Trail. So
now, Kevin, Major League Fishing, MLF, the Bass Pro Tour has released their schedule, and they're actually coming to Louisiana.
Louisiana and East Texas a lot. The very first stop of the year, February 5th through the 10th, Caney Lake, Lake D'Arbonne, Bushy Break.
Yeah.
Steve, that is 3 lakes that they, if it sets up right, they can knock it out of the park.
Yeah, great time.
Especially on Caney Creek. Now, they're using all 3 lakes, so I'm assuming that each round will be at a different lake.
Right, I would assume.
Man, I would really like to see them fish Caney with some practice.
Yes.
Because, if they're doing all 3 lakes, they're not going to be able to practice on all 3 lakes.
Right.
As soon as the schedule came out, I texted our friend Marty Stone and shot him a text and said, man, really glad to see you guys coming to North Louisiana, especially Caney. It is a big fish factory, Steve, that I think gets left off a lot because of its size.
Yes.
And I think it sets up perfect for Major League Fishing. So I'm really, that's February 5th through the 10th. Really interested. And Lake D'Arbonne's got them too.
Oh, heck yeah. All 3 of those are great fisheries. Yeah. And then they head over to East Texas. When is that, Kevin? In
February 19th through the 24th on Lake Fork. Now, Steve, February on Lake Fork is
a little early.
Well, it's kind of untouched.
I would agree with that.
There's nothing.
Hadn't had the pressure at that point.
Well, there's nothing I can recall ever being fished on Lake Fork. And being friends with Lee Livesey over there, he tells me in February you can absolutely catch some hammers.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's kind of untouched. Everybody's still hunting over there.
Pre-spawn stage.
Cool. Again, this is late February, though, Steve.
Yeah, depending on the weather here.
Exactly. Now that's north. That's Dallas area. It takes a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's some fronts coming through up there. And, of course, this past year we had an exceptional cold week. That we ain't had a week like that down here in 50 years. So if we can avoid that, that could really make that tournament a really great event.
And, Steve, there's one more East Texas lake. So April 9th through the 14th, Heavy Hitters, MLF Bass Pro Tour Heavy Hitters event will be on Lake Palestine.
Oh, really?
Palestine.
However
you want to say
it.
Yeah. So Lake Fork, Palestine, Caney Lake, all on the MLF Bass Pro Tour next year.
Well, that's cool. So, we might get Marty in studio with us sometime.
Yeah.
He's going to be in our neighborhood, so we'll have to feed him probably, but that's okay.
True.
Also coming up on the tournament schedule this weekend, as we've already kind of alluded to with the Albert Texas Shootout, September the 12th, and that'll be going out of Humphrey Pavilion, I would assume. Then also this coming weekend, I'll be headed for Lake Texoma once again. In the last 2 weeks will be my second trip over there. It's the ABA Open Series Regional Championship. They combine the East Texas Division and the South Texas Division into one. It's a one regional event. That's 2-day event, September 11th and 12th. That's Saturday and Sunday. And then we got, Kevin, I think the Sealy coming up.
The September 17th to the 19th, the Sealy Outdoors event will be on Lake Fork.
Yep.
So I know it's one of the biggest events on Lake Fork all year. You could probably walk across the lake on boats.
Yeah.
But anyway, September 17th through the 19th, Lake Fork for the Sealy Outdoors event.
It's $500,000 up for grabs at that event. And just so you'll know, $183,000 plus an hourly payback, $2,000 per hour for heaviest bass.
Also, that same weekend is the BFL 2-day event on Sam Rayburn. So busy weekend there as well. Going into the next weekend, September 25th, is the V&M Baits tournament going out of Humphrey Pavilion. You can get registered on Outlaw Outdoors on their Outlaw Outdoors page. You register for the V&M tournament September 25th. I know you'll be out of town that weekend at another tournament as well.
Yeah, the TTO Pro Team Tour at Palestine, whatever you want to call it, they will be pulling in there. That'll be our second event of 3. The third one will be November, I think, 19th and 20th on Sam Rayburn. But looking forward to this Palestine tournament. And just to give you a little update on the first one. The first one was on Texoma a week ago. Was it a week ago? Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago? I guess it was a week ago. And it was well attended and probably had, I think, the circuit is set now, I believe, at 73 boats. And I think 69 fished the first event. 73 were paid up, I believe, or actually entered. And so that'll be that circuit for the rest of the year. There's no jumping in this TTO Pro Tour deal.
Right.
And then again, they'll have another one again starting next fall. And then he's looking to maybe go into the spring in 2023. But 2022 will be a circuit very similar to this one in the fall, which I actually like. I'm hoping they don't move this because there's so much in the spring that we all like to fish. This gives you something to follow in the fall. And we're hoping through some of the team guys that we can convince Donnie and their staff to keep it in the fall. We like it in the fall. I think it's just a great time. I really like to see it start a little bit later than August. Maybe go September, October, November instead of August is brutal.
Yeah.
It's just a hard time to go fishing. But anyway, that's what's going on for the month of September. Right, and
it rolls right in October. Now, we want to talk about October 1st is the registration day for the Brandon Belt tournament to be held the first week of February on Sam Rayburn. First place is $100,000. We will have Ryan Williams on the week before, so it'll be the last September show we have. Ryan Williams, tournament director for the Brandon Belt Fish Tournament, will be on the show. Talk about the registration.
Now, they limiting that.
400 boats.
400 boats.
400 boats. 8 a.m. October 1st, the registration opens up online. They're taking the first 400 boats. Again, we will have him back on the show to talk about that. So keep in mind that date. That is the registration for that Brandon Belt $100,000 tournament. Going right into October 2nd and the 3rd, the Outlaw Outdoors Team Championship is October 2nd, 3rd on Sam Rayburn. The very next weekend, October 9th through the 10th, is the Sealy Fall Tournament, the Big Bass Splash Fall Tournament on Sam Rayburn. And then October 16th is Keith Combs Tournament on Sam Rayburn. So, Steve, it's nonstop. It is nonstop for another month and a half. Sam Rayburn won't get a break. It'll be every single weekend.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And once again, as we talked about, the pressure, it's going to be there. But again, it don't mean the fish aren't there. We just got to go out. You got to do your best you can. Keep your hook wet. Cover some water. I still think going into September, although today did feel really nice and cooler, but I do know from me going to Texoma this week, the high temperatures 96, 97, 95, 92 all 4 days. So not looking to get any reprieve this week. I was hoping a tropical system would move in and come right on up to Texas there, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And Steve saying that, we want to make sure to send our thoughts and prayers to all of our followers and listeners down South Louisiana. From what I've been told, the damage is just unreal down there. And thoughts and prayers go out to you guys for all of our followers.
And continued recovery in southwest Louisiana with the McNeese, Lake Charles area down there, Lafayette. Those people are still in recovery mode from the 2 hurricanes from last year. So our South Louisiana people have been hit really hard. And as Kevin said, our thoughts and prayers are with them as well. Once again, thank you for all of our fine sponsors. We appreciate each and every one of you. Go to our Facebook page. Message us if you want to become a member of our sponsor of our program, as well as a member. And but we look forward to hearing from you. We appreciate the feedback. Give us some feedback on our Facebook page as well. And again, kudos to those guys I saw at Texoma. I know I saw 2 brothers. There was 2 other teams that talked about Tackle Talk Live. They recognized. Actually, Kevin, they recognized my voice of all things. But anyway, they came over and said hello, and they said they really enjoyed the program. Thank you guys for coming up and having a comment. And again, give us some feedback on it. Tell us what you think about the show.
What you want to hear.
Yeah, what you want to hear about. So, but today we're going to leave you with this. This fall can be some of the best bass fishing of the year. A lot of anglers are both hunters and fishermen, and many park their boats and pull out their ATVs. Take advantage of fewer anglers on the water. Go catch some bass that will begin a feeding frenzy starting as they start their fall migration. That'll all be happening real soon in the back of the creeks. So make sure you check that out. Get on the water, catch a few fish while all the hunters are in the woods. For Kevin Jean, James Stanfield, our producer, myself, Steve Graff, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next Monday. Monday, not Tuesday. Monday at 11 o'clock, our new time, our new day for more Tackle Talk Live. Have a great week, everybody.